Hi, Owen Davis here from Leafield Real Estate, and here with Barbara again. Hi, Barbara.
Hello, Owen.
And Barbara looks after the leasing and property management here in Sydney. So just wanted to have a chat to you, Barbara, about what's been happening over the past month in property management. What have we leased? What's been happening?
So we've leased a few decent properties this month, really good quality properties as well. We've had a couple in Dural.
Okay.
We had one property that was a little bit slower than the other, but fortunately we had a bit of work done on the properties. The owners were really quite realistic in what they needed to do to get some tenants through. And
Dural, that's people might know that as more a rural area, but these were residential properties?
Yeah, residential, all within a school catchment that was pretty high profile school, and that people wanted to get into that school. So there was a fair bit of inquiry for it, but one of the properties in particular needed a bit of work. But it was really good. The owner actually met the market and did the work that was needed, and within a few days of finishing we got the tenant through, and it's all leased. So it was good.
Okay, so in terms of leasing and the demand out there, if the pricing's right and it's a quality property?
Yeah, so that's true. With that particular property, we had an issue where we weren't getting people through because the price was not positioned right.
Right.
And so once we adjusted the price, we got people through, and then we could see what needed to be done from the inquiry that we got.
Okay.
So it was a case of adjusting the price to get people through the property in the first place.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what other areas are we leasing in at the moment?
So right now we have properties right across the board. We've got Drummoyne, a really nice 2-bedroom, really light and bright apartment, almost right on the water practically. Walk to the ferry. So that is really good property, which I don't think is going to last very long.
Okay.
We've got an apartment in Kingsford, which is walk just 3 minutes from the uni. It's an older apartment, but it's really convenient and suits students and first-time renters, and yeah, so that's pretty good. We've got a couple of properties out at Bardia, so we've got 2 4-bedroom houses out there, and we're getting a fair bit of inquiry on those at the moment, so we should really expect to get those away within the next few days, I would think.
And we just leased a decent-sized house on the Northern Beaches?
Yes, that was a good situation. I think because it was the beach, I think it's just automatic people just flock.
Freshwater, wasn't it? Yeah.
Freshwater. So yeah, you get quite a lot of people through properties like that, and at least in a very short time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've just leased a property in Kingswood, which is just near Penrith, and it was a little villa, small 2-bedroom villa, and again it didn't take very long to lease at all. So the market is moving again. It's moving up a little bit now as spring has kicked in and more people about. So there seems to be a bit more movement, and people are having a look, and we're getting people through the properties.
Okay, so it really just depends on the area, the type of property, in terms of how much is on the market in those areas, and
the price. I mean, obviously the price at the moment is a big thing. We've got, within the last month, we have had a few tenants who have asked for a rent reduction because they're quite aware that the rents are, have gone down a bit. So tenants are a bit savvy, and they're calling and asking for a rent reduction, and we've had a few owners have actually met that and reduced the rent accordingly. Sometimes a bit of negotiation, but we get there, and so we've prevented a few tenants from leaving with that. So and we've the owners have been pretty good at understanding that the market dropped so in the rental, so they've met it, and it's worked.
Okay, great. Yeah. And what are some of the behind the scenes stories in property management that we tend not to hear about that's happened in the last month?
People that come in from overseas and have expectations of what they want, a particular property and an older property in an area that they want because of a school, but then they want that property to be almost brand new. They want the property to be brought up to new. They want so many things to be done, and there is only so much you can do and ask an owner to do. And when you've got an owner that's, you know, putting on a new garage doors and fixing and putting in a new air conditioning unit, and then there's all the other little things that they want, all new fly screens, and the owners just sometimes can't do it all at once.
Yep.
So the expectations are quite high from some of the immigrants.
Yep.
And sometimes it's hard to, educate's not the right word, but get them to adjust to what their expectations should be in a property that is older.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's just trying to manage the expectations of both tenant and owner.
Yeah, because there's two sides to the story, and obviously the owner can only spend so much because it's an investment, and they need to manage their budget, and you know, some of them have got mortgages, and so there's only certain things they can do, and there's the have-tos and there's the want-tos. So we do the have-tos first, and then we deal with the want-tos as time goes on.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for the update, and
anytime.
and yes, we'll try and do this at least once a month.
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah, just to give everyone a bit of an idea of what's happening out there in the marketplace,
Good idea.
and across all of Sydney.
Yeah.
And so thank you for listening and watching, and we'll come back to you next month with an update from Barbara on the Sydney rental property market.
And happy leasing.
Thanks.